I think the pension issue is the number one largest issue for our generation of folks in Kentucky government. It's been an issue that's taken 20 to 30 years to get to where we're at today. It's not an issue we're going to solve overnight, but I also think it's something that we can make strides toward over time. We've taken some steps, but we've got so much further to go to get us back to a position where it is not a drain on our economy, number one, and the tax base, and two, to be a situation where it doesn't hinder our borrowing and what we can do in the future. I think as we isolate the different issues in the pension system, as we isolate the different systems, we can really see where the problems occurred. We can see what it takes to fix them as well. And I think splitting CERS off with its funding the way it is and having a stronger funding percentage, being managed more conservatively over the years, I think, and counties and cities frankly being required to have paid their freight over the years is a good way to, like I said, isolate the problem that we see in KERS right now and try to figure out exactly what the problems were, how they contributed to where we're at as a whole today, and then how we can fix them as we move forward into the future. We all believe in home rule, or at least we say that most of the time, but it would be a very similar situation to the federal government looking at us as the state government and saying, we're going to collect your tax for you and then just send you your part back. Well, if that happens at either the federal and state level or the state and local level, that bigger entity, Big Brother, is going to take a cut of that. And you always have to wonder how that process is working. Number one, do they even know that they're getting all the revenue that they should be getting? We see it in our small cities all the time, contractors that come in and work for a couple of weeks that are there. Those local elected officials, those local enforcement agencies are able to find those people most of the time and get them to pay the tax that they're required to pay. If it was being collected on the state level, if it was being collected at the federal level, whatever it might be, they're never going to see those types of things. They're never going to be able to get a true picture of what the tax being paid is and what it should be. And so I think we should all have a huge stake in looking at that. I think that local officials should absolutely be furious if that's a proposal that comes up. And I think that we'll see local officials come up here pitchforks and torches if that's the case, that somebody brings that issue before us. But I think it's an idea of Big Brother trying to take care of the smaller government, and that's not what we need. Most of the time when you're dealing with restaurant taxes, you're dealing with local tax dollars. It's not tourism money that's coming in a community like a transient room tax or something like that. And I think many times local residents, people who work in a community, people who live in a community would like to see their tax dollars be able to be used in a broader way that's whatever is best for that community at that given time. And I think that's what revisiting this issue might be able to do. The formulas that we've looked at over the last few years don't exclusively benefit cities, don't exclusively take away from counties. There are some counties that benefit from some of the changes that would happen. Some of the larger counties would benefit, as well as the city counterparts. And especially with the latest proposal that leaves everything harmless as is today and is talking about new money as we move forward into the future, I think that brings about a really good starting point to that conversation as we move forward. We had a classification system in Kentucky that was established decades ago, and we were able to rework that system a couple of years ago, but we weren't able to get into some of the finer details when you deal with taxation, when you deal with liquor laws, when you deal with all these different issues, because those were things that were considered to be too controversial at the time. And so the league and those of us who were working on that piece of legislation at the time chose to create the two structures of government that we have right now, the cities of the first class and then the home rule class cities, but to kind of leave a lot of those other issues as they are currently right now. And so there are still all these statutes on the books that apply to these home rule class cities differently because of where they were at the time when we made that change. Hopefully, as we move forward, we can take on some more of those controversial issues to again get everybody back on a level playing field and allow cities to really do things at the local level. We all talk about all the time in the General Assembly that we believe in home rule, and this is a way for us to truly prove it.